Hi, this is my second run in the day. Well, it's my third one, but this is the second one that's being recorded. If you want more info, I did the Way Chris Manor run, which wasn't recorded because my mic was muted the whole time. And I found it out at the end. So I got this waste during that run. I'll be using it. I'm trying right now to get into more keys. What happened is on the last video, I got into a key for Everbloom. And at the end, people invited me to keep going with them. So I'm joining them into another +2. This is going to be at Aldazar. And yeah, so as I said at the end of the last video, if people invite you to do more keys and that you're looking and they did a great job, the run was smooth, the mood was right. Yeah, I have a 5 for this dungeon. So this is what I mean. Sometimes by joining groups that you have already done with them, they don't mind doing higher level keys because they know you did a great job. So this is a good way to push your Mythic Plus rating way further than you're expecting. I wouldn't be too scared about it, because most of the time you can find out pretty easily whether or not you'll be able to do it or not. When you time a key +3, usually you're doing more than enough. I've only timed in +3 so far, so I'm expecting for this to be pretty easy for a +5. So whether or not they do it +5 or not, I'll change the mindset of what I want to do with this run. But this would be a good opportunity to show you how useful the tips I gave you are in maybe a more difficult situation. So this is the Font of Power, which is what I meant. In the last video I talked a bit about the level dungeon and how to change your key level. If you want to use your key and start a run, you need to go to the Font of Power and then use your key on it. I can't use it because I don't have the key for this dungeon. Mine is for Throne of Tides. This is at Aldazar. They're trying to figure out what's happening. Trying to figure out. Okay, we're doing a 5, so this is gonna be different and harder than we were expecting. So +5 here is if you watch here, it's gonna be let me check. It should be saying somewhere, or maybe on the ads. Let me just target something. This is wait, fortified, so it means the ads are harder. So every week it's gonna alternate between either fortified or I forgot which one the other one is. Titanic, I think. So there's one that makes all the ads deal with the mobs that are not bosses harder, and there's on the next week it alternates with making the boss harder but not the ads. So this week is boss are harder, so usually you really need to, like when I say that you really need to have your cooldowns up for your boss on a tyrannical week, it's not that important. So this week is not too bad because bosses aren't buffed too hard. But on next week it's gonna be really important to have my CDs. This is just a boss I know because I've done it a bunch while leveling. When you see that timer, it means that the boss is doing a fear. So what the boss is doing, what the tank is doing, he's hiding right next to... Yeah, okay, I stopped myself, but I was about to try to bubble the healer. So I'll try to do it next time. This is what I mean when like mastering your class really shows shows off. It pops off. It makes plays. So like you see, this one is a pursuit. So if he is gonna run after the hunter, and if he gets into melee range, he's gonna slap the hunter really hard. So the hunter needs to run away and make sure he doesn't get in melee range of the boss. But as a paladin, I have something called Blessing of Protection, which blocks all the damage that a target
4,
takes.
3, 2, 1.
So I'm hiding, finishes the cast, going back out. So, alright, multiple things to talk about this. So since we did a huge gap in difficulty, I have a lot to add to the curriculum. But as you can see, how the tank plays the boss was pretty important. So he put it right next to a corner of a wall, so it was easier for us melee DPS to be able to get out of line of sight, to make sure we don't get hit by the fear. So these are kind of strats where I say like it's kind of cheesy. It's not like, probably not how it was intended for it to be beaten, but player finds ways to min-max like their output. And this is one way in particular that people really like to do it. It's fairly common. You'll see it in most fights where line of sight is important. So what I'm doing right now is I'm doing my single target rotation and trying to make sure I don't get hit by the stuff on the ground as much as I can. There's also, as you can see right now, my bar isn't pink. It's because I have a disease on me. And as a paladin, I have this over here, which removes disease. So I'll be trying to use that as much as I can. And as you get into hierarchies also, you're gonna have to sacrifice sometimes your DPS for survivability, because dead DPS doesn't do damage at all. So right now, I have a spell called Word of Glory. And this makes it so that I spend my holy power to heal. So see right now I spend this and I healed my my tank with it. These are what people call cookies. They are the health stones that Warlock can give. I always put mine on control 6. Yeah, this is way more loaded than what I would expect it to be today. I didn't expect to do a +5, but when life gives you lemon, right? So some things I'm adding right now are interrupts. I'm have to really pay attention to what's going on during a fight. I need to know more stuff that my class can do other than the DPS. So if we go back to what I just talked about, there was already the disease. I have cleanse toxins, which removes diseases, and I saw that this particular pack of ads did apply a few diseases, so I can help the healer if needed to see this to make sure he survives. Other stuff I do have, this is a hex, so I'll just interrupt it. It's like when there's a huge chance that comes with it, usually it means that it's pretty important to kill it. I'm trying to focus important target too, so this is all concepts that really makes more sense as you do more Mythic Plus and figure out what happens. So in the particular fight right now, I'm noticing that the shield bearer, the target we just killed, was doing often a bubble around it where it was reducing damage from the target. You can see the tank was really good. He was pulling the ads outside of the zone so we could do full damage potential. Other things that gonna come, that gonna be more necessary as you go up in difficulty is learning all the spells. So as I said, I was talking about Cleanse Toxin, but also the Blessing of Protection that I could apply during the boss fight was pretty important too. As you see, everyone's pretty low right now, so I'm gonna give a hand to the healer and heal myself. You can also heal other people if you feel like it was necessary. I misclicked my button. I meant to use a Word of Glory, but I used Divine Storm. This is the kind of mistake you'll do often. Yeah, so this is a health stone. This is an item that warlocks can give freely. Having a warlocks in your group is pretty good. You get an item that when you use it, it gives you 25% of your max health. So pretty good to help you survive. I'll remove my own toxin. So I think this is a boss where you need to kill the totems pretty close to one another. Maybe not pretty close, but I think you need to, because they are all healing the boss. So I'll go around to another one, and I'll try to heal this guy, remove my toxin, and spend all my resources on trying to save myself. Alright, so all the totems are down. I'll be healing myself, and I'll be debuffing people. I'll try to use my defensives. This is a lot harder than what we were used to in the +2s, but it's doable. So yeah, this is what I think is happening. We need to kill all 3 of them at the same time. Otherwise, it's just gonna keep popping. So I think one of them wasn't killed in time. This is a pretty hard fight, like even in a normal dungeon. See, people are already talking in the chat, trying to explain what we needed to do, and I'm glad actually that this is happening, because I was trying really hard there. I was using more CDs, I was using stuff that I didn't talk about here, I was interrupting, I was using mechanics that I knew before, and even then, we weren't able to kill the boss. So it's not always your fault, first of all. And also, it's normal to make mistakes, and even me, I'm learning, right? So what he just said in chat, pretty important. So 1 DPS per totem. So this is something I did late. I swapped to this reanimation totem because I was the only one. Because I saw it was still full health. And this is information that I knew from before. And so... Okay, someone's going there. I'm going there. Yeah. Just making sure everything is getting hit. Does seem like it. I'm gonna remove the disease from myself. Try to give a hand to the healer. This is obviously the mine that's pretty low right now. So I'm trying to pop everything as much as I can. This is dead. So this is phase 2. I think now we did it. Yeah, the totems are gone. We can actually DPS the boss. I'll be spending my... I'm trying to give a hand to the healer right now. Spending everything to make sure that the people are being topped off. Dispelling the toxin as much as I can. And using my... my holy powers to heal. If possible. And trying to make sure I'm not on the goo on the ground. So... this is something... Okay, this is, I think, what was applying the disease. He was casting a spell. The more he casts it, it seems the higher the stacks of disease we're getting. So every time he casts it, we need to make sure we're interrupting it. So I'm paying really paying attention to whether he's casting or not. And whenever he starts the cast, I stop it right then. And right now, I get only a 14,000 damage dot instead of what we used to get. So now I know that having an interrupt on this boss is pretty important. My DPS cooldowns are back up, so I'm trying to spend them again. This is a lot harder than what you used to in a +2. I need to try hard a lot more, and I think that I'm having way bigger impact on the success of this key than what normal players could do. But I hope that okay, there you go. This is some stuff too that I just figured out that I'll try to show you right after. But yeah, I'm obviously doing more than what I expect new players to be doing right now. But I'm trying to show you how complex it could get, and trying to explain to what is my thought process about getting into like these complex mechanics and improvement into the key. Obviously, I'm not. Hopefully, I'm not losing some of you guys. I'm trying to make this as accessible as possible. So, second thing I wanted to show you is I realized I was talking earlier about some of them was making shields, and this prevented us from doing full potential DPS on our targets. Well, as a paladin, I have a few stuff that are called CCs, which means stands for crowd control. This allows us to stun people, and in the case of the shield, I had to try it. So what I did is I used Hammer of Justice, which means stuns the target for 6 seconds. And I realized that if I did it on the target that was casting the shield, it would stop him from casting it. Important thing to note is that the shield is not interruptible. So it's not something you can use Rebuke on. So you really need to have a hard CC, which means it stands for anything that does actually stuns, like stops their target, whether or not they are casting or not. So this is a castable spell. Castable spell can be either interrupted or hard CC'd, so either by stun or incapacitation. So by example, I have 2 stuns, 2 hard CCs, I would say. I have a Hammer of Justice or Blinding Lights. So Blinding Lights, what it does is when I cast it, everybody starts. Usually they move around. Yeah, they wander disoriented for 6 seconds. But CCs like these usually doesn't. It stops stunning the target or disorienting them in that case after they take damage. So these are not considered hard CCs, but it's good enough to stop a cast. So if someone is casting the shield from earlier, I can use this and not have them run around 6 seconds, but just have them stop their cast of the shield so that my group can do DPS. But if I use my Hammer of Justice instead, you will be stunned the whole time and will be getting hit by my group for DPS. And I'll be able to... so he won't be contributing to the damage my tank is dealing or casting group-wide damage. I'm trying not to get too close to the boss. Okay, it's further than I thought. So see right now, these guys have beams on them. So I was trying to cast a stun on them to stop the beam, but it didn't seem to matter. But in the meantime, the tank wasn't getting hit by it. See, they're using transfusion. I could use my AoE disorient to stop them from casting it. Even though it was a cast that I was not supposed to be able to interrupt, by using AoE hard CCs, I was able to stop them from casting it. These are the type of cast that doesn't really matter where we are. Well, maybe right now, because the healer, like he said himself that he was struggling a bit. I'm just gonna move. I'm gonna keep my chat short because they seem to be chill. But yeah, the healer said himself earlier that he was pretty undergeared, so I'm trying to compensate a bit and trying to give him a easier time. So these are small things you can do to help your healer. So this is another boss. I know a mechanic too from this boss that I won't be shy about using. I think at some point he starts casting a beam of light on someone, and you need to get into one of these blood to like infect the holy beam. And I think the orbs you're seeing right now that are oozing towards me, I think this is a transfusion. So you need to step on the blood and see the beam becomes a beam of blood. And once everyone gets hit by that, something happens. I don't know, but I know this is a mechanic from the boss. Maybe it failed because someone didn't do it, or it didn't seem to be getting buffed or something. So transfusion. So I'm getting transfusion. So I see there's a pool of blood over here. See, it says I'm getting healed, something like this. I'll need to read back, but I know this is a core mechanic of the boss fight, so in hierarchies you'll have to do it, and you have to figure out why you're doing it, but for the moment I'm just doing it blindly and hoping it's good. My CDs went back up. I know there's only 5% health left on the boss, so I probably won't be able to use the whole thing. Oh, so he's getting healed from it. So you want to, yeah, that's it. So by using blood, you stop it from healing the boss. So a good thing I did use my CDs, but what I was about to say is that it's fine to do. Yeah, this is fire. I won't be going through that. I'll wait for this to expire. And then you see the tank died. I'll just try to make sure I res him. So always have your resurrection in your bar. Something I need to get used to is now I have a battle res. Something I didn't use on the boss where we wipe at the first time, but I could have B-res the healer, so instead of all releasing and then going to the walking back to the boss, the healer sometimes can just res the whole group because they have a button to do a mass res. Someone aggroed in the back, and that saves time to get back into our next pull to the boss. After a wipe, obviously. So this is a mini game where you have to dodge the spiders and make your way to the top. Oh, my game froze for a second. Trying to get up there, and once someone reached there, the boss stops sending them, so it's easier for the ones that are joining to come back. All right, going in. I remember there's something about like he's stealing your soul or something, so you need to kill your soul. See, I think that's it. Soul run. Oh yeah, and then you need to go far. I think that's it, because it's trying to reach the boss. Yep. I remember. Interrupting is pretty important. There are spiders that are trying to hit you. Just make sure you don't get hit by it. I remember. So someone in chat, you can see they are yelling for Lost. I'm interrupting, trying to make sure I don't die here. I have the health stone from the warlock, I just used it. Spiders are spawning, and then soul run. So what they did is they ran away to make sure that all the ads was spawning close to one another, so you can AoE them instead of single targeting, damaging them. What I said earlier about maximizing the time you're spending doing AoE damage instead. This is a case of that. And then going back to single targeting the boss. I have my CDs, trying to use them on CD. So someone died, I have a B-res, I'm using it. We have a few of them, so I don't mind using them. So I have the debuff, I'm running back to make sure it spawns right next to my friends, and then AoEing the targets. I'll stun mine to make sure it doesn't get there in time. And then I'm going back to this, trying to make sure I don't get hit by the spider. It seems we seem to... Oh, and then I died. I ran right into a spider. So I'm gonna ask for a B-res. It's 6%, but we're almost there. So we'll just try to burst them as fast as we can. 1%. And we did it. So I was clearly not geared enough to do this freely and without a worry, but we did time it. It was pretty hard. It did ask me to have previous knowledge of the bosses that we were going into, and and it also asked me to use more spells from my toolkit. I had to use my cleanse toxins. I added blinding lights, kick, so my rebuke, and my hammer of justice stuns. And I had to had also defensive, so Healthstone I had to use, and also Shield of Vengeance and Divine Protection were used only once. I haven't really talked about these two so far, but I will be getting into using them way more often in the future. And also I used my battle res once, and I was talking about using Blessing of Protection. So a lot more added abilities, and I haven't even talked about Divine Steed yet, but we'll get to it eventually. So yeah, hopefully this wasn't too overwhelming. Maybe it just gives you a glimpse of what's gonna happen next once we get into the harder content. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed and got something and learned something from this run. Leave a like, subscribe and everything, and thank you so much for the support. Thank you.